he tried to get real.
Some people, mainly Republicans right now, are arguing what's really needed are tax cuts.
I'm not smoking that same pipe. Everything is on the table.
Everything is on the table. He's not smoking that pipe. Now, would each of you agree that you look at this ocean of red ink, Republican and a Democrat, get real, that to solve the fiscal disaster looming for the country, Republicans here in Washington are going to have to agree the government gets more revenue. Democrats are going to have to agree long-term entitlements get cut.
No question. And you can cut entitlements in a very intelligent way. I mean, we're working longer, we're living longer. There's no reason why entitlements can't be pushed back in terms of age. And everyone knows that. It's a dirty little secret, but people got to get together and say it.
That wasn't even hard to get the two of you to agree on that.
Well, we have agreed on that. We have agreed on that for a long time. I think there's no two ways about it that we in this country have a major problem with spending on ongoing programs, and especially on promising people things that we can't keep. The pension is a disaster in California and in the whole nation. We have pension obligations that we cannot fulfill. We have healthcare obligations, unfunded obligations that we cannot fulfill. I mean, in California, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, and that's very dangerous. So those are the areas that people are upset about, and those are the kind of things we have to stop. But one should never get confused between spending money and investing in the future of America. And what we are talking about, what our partnership is about, is investing in the future of California. We have made a commitment in California of $70 billion since I've come into office. And right now, the legislature, after 4 decades of arguing, have come together, Democrats and Republicans, and have made a commitment to $11 billion in bonds for water infrastructure. Because what has happened this last year in the Valley of having 40% unemployment because of the lack of water, that was devastating. So the California people know the difference, and that's why they've approved all of those infrastructure packages, including the high-speed rail, the $10 billion, and they will also approve in November the water infrastructure, which is very important, so we have water in the future. So we got to rebuild our state, and the whole country has to rebuild itself. Because if you think back in history, I mean, all great civilizations all became great because they had great infrastructure. If you think about the Persians of building the waterways and the paved roads, the Romans, they had the aqueduct system of delivering water and the sewage system. The Egyptians, they built reservoirs.
How many people on the Great Wall of China?
People get that. We're running out of time here. I've got one more question.
I want to say that the decay and the falling of those empires and of those civilizations is directly linked to not keeping up the infrastructure. So we have to be very, very careful in America to keep up our infrastructure, not only to maintain it, but to build. If it is our ports, if it's our freeways, if it is our airports, and all of those things need to be rebuilt.
One more, briefly, the healthcare summit coming up. Do you expect anything out of this? What should Republicans do? They're coming to the table saying the president's got to take this bill off the table to begin with before they even talk. Just a couple seconds on this.
Well, first of all, I think that Mrs. Obama is doing something very smart right now. She's gotten into the obesity summit business. And I think that if you do healthcare, you cannot do healthcare without prevention. I think the prevention part is the biggest and the most important part of healthcare reform. And so for her to talk about obesity, which is a huge problem because it creates the diabetes and all the health problems in children, we make our children, they're now 10 pounds heavier today than they were 20 years ago. So all of this is, I think, going in the right direction.
Republicans should come to the table to do a deal?
I think that Republicans should be on the table with healthcare reform and bring their ideas, whatever it may be. I think if it is just tort reform, I mean, just about tort reform, there could be a huge improvement in the healthcare reform, and prevention could be a huge improvement.
Terry, the Republican Party has a very difficult task ahead. They can't just say no on Thursday. The American people are watching, and they're watching clearly. They've got to come up with some ideas, and they've got to say what you said. You take some of our ideas, we'll take some of your ideas. We may not love your ideas, but we'll take them. If they don't do that, I think this whole dynamic of this political year could turn around.
That's what compromise is all about. You got to have two opposing point of views. You try to bring them together and you try to find out where's the sweet spot here. And there's always a sweet spot. If there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to serve the people and not just your party, I think you will find that sweet spot and you can get it done.
Governor Schwarzenegger, Governor Rendell, thanks very much for being here. Good luck on the infrastructure project.
Thank you very much.
And up next, we'll have the roundtable with George Will, Ariana Huffington, Matthew Dowd, and Donna Brazil. And later, The Sunday Funnies.
This week, brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.